Welcome everyone to another episode of Big Brand MMA Podcast, episode 66, UFC 287 Pereira versus Adesanya 2 rematch. I'm your host, like always, BigSteve. Just because I have a special guest on, because I never do it, and I have a lot of new subscribers, I should probably introduce myself for the first time in 66 episodes. I'm a full-time MMA bettor for about a year or so. I've been doing this for 5 years. I think this is my 6th year, actually. Might have to double check that. Doing all right. $1,500 units, over $100,000 so far. Just recently ticked over that, but I'm kind of going backwards a little bit now, having a bit of a rough run. But yeah, I brought a special guest on, James from LucrativeMMA. He's a full-time gambler as well. Been doing it a lot longer than me. Just recently started this podcast, started a Discord if you're interested. Had no one to talk about fights when I started this. Had to scour the underground forums and Sherdog back in the day. Now I've got a community, Twitter, people like James that I'd like to talk to all the time. So yeah, like and subscribe. I did get a lot of you new subscribers, so I do appreciate it. James, tell us a bit about yourself, man. I'm sure people know quite a bit about you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, bro. Excited to talk about this card. We've done it a couple of times before, so coming back, I think it's our third time chatting. So yeah, hopefully we can make some money again. Yeah, I'm a professional gambler. I've been gambling for many years. Grew up around the dog tracks and all that, but been gambling on MMA for about 5-6 years and making a profit for around five years or so. So yeah, I got my handicapping service and I make videos on YouTube breaking down the cards every single week. That's what we're going to do today. And actually, I got a lot of bets on this card. You know, me and you have different styles. Like, you're always, I'm not saying scared to pull the trigger, but I'm a little bit more reckless than you are, a little bit more risky. I've always got like 7-8 bets on a card, and you're always like picking your 2 or 3. And everybody's got different styles. There's no one right or wrong way to do it. But like usual, I've got about 7 or 8 bets on the card, so I'm excited to talk about those bets and the fights with you today.
That's good, man. I like to hear that because just like you've identified me, I am on the other side. I don't have 7 or 8 bets. I will, though. I will. Like, it's early days for me. It's Thursday. Props are still opening up for me. Yeah. I'm excited to talk to you about it. And then, as the week goes on, I'll definitely have a few bets. I do have a couple already. So, yeah, exciting times. Let's get into it. So, first fight of the night is Sam Hughes versus Jaqueline Amorim. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Tough one. Amorim, just literally ran through everyone in the first round. Really good submission, jiu-jitsu. I think she's a world champ. She's a black belt, so not just, not one of those purple belts, et cetera, that we see on the regional scene. Just what can you say? I thought about maybe playing Sam Hughes, but I just can't. My style of betting, I don't know much about Amorim. Maybe she's good enough to run through someone like Sam Hughes. I quickly ran through Sam Hughes' career. The one submission loss is obviously over Demopoulos, Vanessa, which, I mean, I don't know if you can call that a meme, but credit where it's due. Sam threw that up, that reverse triangle, and it was, it looks like something she's hit before. It was beautiful, and she locked it up and, put Sam Hughes out cold. Other than that, you watch your fights with Luana Pinheiro, who we'll talk about later, and she gets up straight away, turtles, and, gives a neck in the process. Pinheiro tried for a Peruvian necktie, a quick one. Straight get-ups. No one really that's really, really good at submission attempts that can punish her. I don't know if she's going to get taken down here and then, give up her back or give up her neck to stand up, which could be risky against someone like Jaqueline. It's just a fight with a lot of questions. I would rather bet Sam Hughes live, personally, if she survives. She's dropping round ones at an alarming rate. I actually played her against Piera Rodriguez, against someone that I didn't think was a very dangerous fighter, and she gasses out herself, and she gave up like 5 or 6 single legs in that fight, and which was just very, very alarming. I feel like she'll give up takedowns here. I don't know if she'll survive, if she'll get submitted. I just don't know how Amorim's going to handle it if it does go along. So, yeah, I see the unders. A plus money is a popular play. That could be a look. What do you have, mate?
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? But because we don't know how good Amorim is. As you said, she could just run through Sam Hughes. We don't know the level of her level at the moment. But this is a type of bet where I'm happy to lose. It's just my style. Like, I don't mind losing these bets. Plus 200 on Sam Hughes. It's fine. I feel like I'm going to hit more than 1 in 3 of these bets, or hit like I'm going to at least hit this bet at like 1 in 3, in my opinion. When you're fading these massive favorites, minus 300, minus 250. At the end of the day, this chick's fought no one. She's only got first round finishes. We don't know if she can go 3 rounds. We don't know anything about her striking. Yeah, she knocked out that one girl in 10 seconds. Good overhand right, hook type straight thing. But at the end of the day, Sam Hughes is, fought really good level of competition compared to Amorim. And I think that she can win this fight if she extends it. Amorim shoots from way out. She doesn't look like she was on a Brazilian national wrestling team, apparently, right? Fighting in a good gym right now. I mean, she's doing everything right, but she shoots from far out. I don't like her wrestling, honestly. I mean, when she gets the hold of the body, yeah, sweet, but to actually close distance for the takedown, it's not good. I think Sam Hughes is going to be well prepared for that. She's always got good game plans, Sam Hughes. She's not that good, so she can't win a lot of fights, right? But she's got good game plans in most fights, especially lately since she moved gyms. So yeah, I'm happy to play plus 200. It's a massive number in an MMA fight, man. Plus 200 in a UFC level fight is a big number, man. Like, people don't really understand. So yeah, I'm happy to lose my money. If I lose my money, it is what it is. But I did play Sam Hughes.
No worries, man. Yeah, no surprise at all that you were playing this. Like, I feel like, don't ask what I was thinking about while typing this card, but I was like, yeah, that's a play for Lucrative MMA. And there was a few of them. And then I was just like, he's going to call me out for passing. But yeah, it's just, to me, it's the main thing is preserving my capital. So you say you're happy you're happy to lose the money here. I'll be happy if Sam looks amazing value and it goes to a split. But I just don't know. Maybe she gets run through in the first round. Then I'll be really unhappy that I threw my money away like that, on a bet where she's just got demolished. I'm like, that was a shit bet. But yeah, I thought about it, man. I thought about it long and hard. You can't go wrong. If it gets out of round 1, you can assume that there's going to be some value there.
It's just, you know what it is? It's like I take so many of these big shots that it's just evidently it does work out for me in the long term. Just in terms of the shots I take, like I played McCourt at like plus 325. I didn't think she was going to win, but I don't care because over the long term, I am going to hit McCourt plus 300, Sam Hughes 200, Will Flurry plus 250. Like if I keep playing these shots, I understand. Like I will come out profitable. But I understand preserving your capital. And for gamblers out there, you go through different phases in your gambling life. It depends how much money you have in the bank. People don't understand it. Depends how much money you have in the bank. Depends how much money you have in your bankroll, but also in your bank. Actually, how much money you have in general. It depends on your style at the time, your risk tolerance. There's been times where I don't want to lay shots on anyone. And then now I'm a little bit more free flowing. I play lots of underdogs, big ones. So it just depends on your whole financial situation and your life at the time. And at the moment, I'm at a position where I like to just take a few of these shots. And it's working out well so far. So yeah, we'll see.
Oh, of course, man. No. Like you said, everyone's got their own style. Let's address some of these comments. We got all the boys, Kurt, Kotowski, GRBR. I love pronouncing that name all the time. I'm not going to read them all. They're just going back and forth. Akai Field, Mountaineer. He loves his font sub. I'm sure he's going to be talking about this all day. And this one, Sam Chu. This is my jiu-jitsu coach. Big Sam. Thanks for listening, mate. What an honor. I'll see you tonight at training, I guess. Daz Files. I've seen Daz around. Thanks for tuning in, mate. Alrighty. Let's move on. Steve Garcia, Shayilan, Nuerdanbieke. Oh, I nailed that last time. I'm proud of that. Yeah, I'll take this one away and then I'll let you do the next fight. I'm really close to playing Steve Garcia here. I feel like this is a very volatile fight. I don't think you can really play Shayilan at this kind of line ever. Minus 200. He's, a one-dimensional wrestler. I think he's improving. I think he's a kill cliff now. I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. Not training in China anymore, or the PI. Yeah, I mean, you look at his career. He's beaten the nobodies. The Sean Soriano, who's known to not have good takedown defense, and he kind of got reversed there. Lost round 1. TJ Brown, the the flakiest of flakes. Had a close fight there. And then he just beat. What does that say about the Derek Minner fight? I was on the unfortunate side of that absolute rigged fight, and I couldn't even hedge myself out because the line just moved too much, and they got rid of all the props. I just thought, potentially Shayilan can put his head in the guillotine there. But yeah, Steve Garcia, I mean, I get why he's the underdog. He's just a reckless man. His whole career, even before I was gambling properly, I remember he was pinned to go against Joe Warren. I was watching his highlight reel and was knocking everyone out. And then Joe Warren grounded him out to a decision. And, he's got lost to Ricky Tercio, so I assume he was a wrestling-based decision as well. Luis Pena just body locked him for 3 rounds. He was he's fought this kind of style a lot of times. He's beat Ronnie Lawrence. I saw the highlight. Dropped him multiple times. He hits like a truck. He's massive for featherweight. He's 6 foot. He kicked the crap out of Jose Mariscal. That was an early stoppage, but he still kicked the crap out of him, wobbled him, hurt him multiple times. Knocked out Desmond Torres, another wrestler. And then obviously kicked the crap out of Chase Hooper. So, Shayilan can be knocked out. I know people saying he's durable. He's got that Chinese chin. He was knocked out right before the UFC by Zhu Rong, who was being cut. But he's got decent power. But yeah, he just feels like a very volatile fight. Where Steve Garcia's, you have to assume he's going to get a couple of drops, a couple of wobbles. He always does. He's super aggressive. It's just he's so reckless that I think Shayilan, with his more straightforward, go for takedowns, go for suplexes, hold on for dear life. How aggressive Steve is, and even in that Luis Pena fight, Luis Pena is going to backpack you, and in round 3 you're still not worried about the backpack. You're running out there trying to knock him out. How about stuff a few takedowns and then start working on your game plan? Like he's just 100 miles an hour. All systems go always. But yeah, the power alone, the aggressiveness, you just have to. It's dog or pass. He's got those intangibles. It feels like a damage versus control kind of fight. But again, Steve Garcia always gets damaged too. He always gets dropped. So it's one of those. I'm close, but I haven't pulled the trigger yet. Yeah, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I feel the same, man. Not much to add. Steve Garcia, he was plus 200 at one point. I would have definitely played him there. He's like plus 180 or something. I'm still thinking about it. He's a bit wild. Like, I don't really know what he is still. I mean, John Stargarian said that when I went on the Club and Sub earlier. It's like, it's hard to kind of tell what Steve's style is. I mean, he comes out and just throws reckless punches, and then if he doesn't land, he falls into the clinch and just takes you down. That's just kind of what he is, right? But he's very vulnerable himself. He's very open to get hit, and he's not the best grappler as well. But Shayilan should never be minus 250 against most people in the UFC, and definitely not Steve Garcia, because Garcia he makes the volatile fights, right? So he's going to come forward, and there's definitely versions of this fight where he lands big shots on Shayilan, probably knocks him out. This Shayilan was getting stopped on the regional scene many, many times. He got stopped by a 2-2 guy, submitted, knocked out. Zhu Rong, who's a low-level UFC fighter, knocked him out. So I don't think this guy's durability is as good as we've seen in the UFC. I do think he's improved, but Steve is massive as well. Steve has got like a 3-inch reach advantage, 3-inch height advantage, whatever it is. He's like 6 foot, and this Shayilan dude's like 5'9" or something. So I mean, it's a big, big advantage. I could definitely see Steve knocking him out in the first round for sure. I think Steve's the side all day. I don't mind the under. You have to pay a bit of chalk, but I actually do like it because Steve's very vulnerable. I think they're both going to swing. I think it's going to be a high-paced war. So for that reason, I like the under. And I don't know if I'm going to play Steve, but I might do.
What's the under? I'm still waiting for it on Bet365.
It's like minus 150.
Yeah. I just don't like the fact that I'm probably relying on Steve mostly. I'm sure he can get knocked out. Yeah, I'm sure he can get knocked out, but
yeah.
This reminds me of the Hooper fight, and I really, really wanted to fade Chase Hooper with Steve, and just the world was, no, Hooper's going to do this, Hooper's going to do that, and it was getting steamed.
Yeah.
And I was like, I should just sprinkle it a little bit, like I know, and then he just ran through him. His back was up against the wall, but here, he's fighting a much better wrestler, man, much better wrestler than Hooper. But yeah, I feel like I might get on it small. We'll see how many bets I have by the end of the week. I still think there's value. Someone said in the chat, this could be a pick 'em fight. It feels like a pick 'em fight, right? There's no way.
Agreed.
There's no way Shayilan should be this much of a favorite. I mean, who has he looked this much of a favorite at current odds in the UFC? Like, ignoring the fixed fight. Like, no one. They've all been close decisions.
Yeah, they have. The only thing is, like, I don't know what type of game Steve has for 3 rounds. You know, it just feels like I don't even know if I've ever seen him put together a good 3-round fight. I don't think I have. Have you?
Nah, well, not in the UFC at least. I think he's just going to be, just an aggressive dude, go for his own takedowns occasionally. Like the highlight that I saw in the Lawrence fight, he got taken down, he stood up, and then just got a couple of knockdowns and one unanimous. He's just going to go in there and brawl, I guess, brawl.
Yeah.
But he's a dog, He's a dog, so he's got his weaknesses, but I guess it's baked in the line.
This could be a good spot, man. I might play it. Honestly, it could be a good spot.
Yeah, I've got that feeling, bro. I've got that feeling. I don't want this to be another Chase Hooper where I pass because I'm scared of how Steve Garcia fights. Like, he's got the intangibles, bro. Tangibles are there. Alrighty. People's main event. Trey Ogden versus Ignacio's Bahamondes. I don't know what to say about this one. I do lean Ignacio. I think whatever happened with the Zellhuber fight, I don't think it's going to happen here because Ignacio just has incredible volume on the outside. That's one thing that goes for him. Trey, I break him down, I think 2 weeks ago or last week. It just jabs and kicks on the outside. It's not going to work against Ignacio. He does have an okay double when he times it. But yeah, what is there to play here? I don't really want to parlay Ignacio. The line's unplayable. I don't have much to add. I don't even want to play the under. I think Ignacio is usually death by 1,000 cuts. What about you, mate?
Yeah, I like the under a little bit, actually. I think Ignacio is kind of just going to beat him up here. Ignacio fought well in his debut against John McDessie, threw tons of strikes, it was a good fight. And Zellhuber threw no strikes on his debut against Trey Ogden. I think he just had the jitters. It happens sometimes the fighters, Zellhuber just look bad. I think Ignacio is going to beat him up. GRB is saying there's been 2 weight cuts for Trey Ogden, and that's the truth. Is this at a catch weight?
It is 160, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So, so that gives him 5 pounds. But even then, Ignacio is huge. That's probably going to benefit Ignacio, because he doesn't have to cut all that weight. Trey Ogden has to cut twice. I think Bahamondes is actually going to finish him, to be honest.
You think he'll finish him in under 2.5?
I mean, yeah. It's 2.5 minutes, isn't it? So, I don't know. I do think it's going to come later, though. I think it'll come 2nd or 3rd round.
What's the under 2.5? Again, I don't have it on Bet365.
Pick him.
Oh, okay. That's not bad. I thought it would be juiced.
No, I'm pretty sure I got Pick'em or minus 120. One of the two. I've already bet it. So, it's minus 125. Yeah, minus 130. But I think I bet it at Pick'em like 2 days ago. I moved the line a little bit there. Sorry guys, but yeah, I still think minus 130 is good.
Yeah, I would personally pass just because he couldn't get old mate out of there. Roberts is just as flaky as it gets.
He got him out of there.
Until last minute, spinning wheel kick. But yeah, he was done. He was done early.
Yeah.
I like front kick MMA here. Bahamondes sub could be decent. That's what I was thinking with those front chokes. And we've seen Ogden sub 4 times for a black belt. I
actually think like I'm predicting submission. But submission is plus 750, plus 600, so that's not bad.
Not bad, man. That's going to see $100 for me, I feel. Or even fight ends in sub, because if I'm playing the under, I feel like Trey's under is a submission as well.
Probably.
It's just, can you get the takedown? Alrighty, let's move on. So I'll let you take this one away. So Cynthia Calvillo versus Lupi Godinez. I haven't really taped much of it. No interest.
I think Cynthia's washed. I think that is proven in her last fight. So she's gone on a 3-fight skid. She's 9-5. In that 3-fight skid, she got knocked out by Andrade, and that's forgivable. But then she got finished by Andrea Lee. She quit. No mess. Rigondeaux style. She didn't get up from her stall, and that's fairly unforgivable. You know, I've never really seen her do that before. So for her to do that, it's out of character. And when you see fighters doing things like out of character, that often tells me that they're on a bad downslide. You know, something's changed. And I do think that proves that she's definitely washed. And then even in the Nina Nunes fight, she looked terrible. And I thought she was going to get stopped by leg kicks at some point. I mean, she was wobbling on her leg. That's Nina Nunes, man. Nina Nunes just had a baby in there. I mean, she's not a great fighter at this point. She's like 9-7 herself or something. So I think Lupita Godinez is a rightful favorite. And I actually think she has a good chance of finishing Cynthia in this spot.
Yep, I like that, man. If anything, I would rather play Godinez by finish.
Yeah.
And the reason I haven't taped it is because I agree. I do think Cynthia is washed. But the thing is, when Calvillo came onto the scene, man, her submission grappling was so good, man. The back takes, that Botelho back take, I was like, this girl's going to be a problem. And then she started wrestling, and she was wrestling Jessica I was like, she's got the wrestling, she's got the jiu-jitsu, but she doesn't really do it. I don't know. I feel like if Lupita Godinez goes for takedowns, I don't know. She'll give her that ground game. You know, other girls have just outstruck Cynthia Calvillo. But yeah, I still feel, I don't know. When you're washed, you know.
Yeah.
If anything, I'll play Godinez by this finish. $4.50 for the finish.
Yeah.
Surely, right? She does. She cracks, man. She cracks.
It's just she doesn't really ever get finished. She's never got a knockout ever, even in amateur. And I think she's got like one sub-pro out of like 10 fights. So it's kind of annoying. But doesn't really matter if you're fighting an opponent who's just washed. Then even if you've never got no finishes, you can probably get it. And she does hit hard with the boxing. Doesn't have a knockout, but she hits hard. She almost dropped Angie. I think she dropped Angie in the first round.
Man, she hits very hard. I'm surprised she doesn't have more knockouts. When I was taping her regional scene for her debut, I was like, that's good. This girl hits like a truck. I think that's why she's such a big favorite against Jessica Penne.
She just doesn't have that finishing instinct, and she doesn't throw a lot of volume. And in women's MMA, you can hit hard, but you don't really get like a standing knockout, you know? Whereas in women's MMA, when you get a finish, it's more of an attritional. It's more of you just constantly hit, you know, a lot of volume. Like Andrea Lee over Calvillo, she just hit her with 100 shots. Or Joanna Jacek, when she finishes, you know, she just 100 shots. So in women's MMA, that's usually how the TKO finishes are, unless you're Jessica Andrade or Lemos. And unfortunately, Lupi doesn't have a lot of volume. She hits you hard once, but she doesn't really follow it up. So that's why. But I do think she's live here to do it.
Yeah, I feel like if anyone's going to get a standing KO, probably Lupi, because she does. She's got a little bit of John Lineker about her. Surprised. I'm very surprised based on tape that she doesn't have more KOs. But let's move on. If I have any will in me to tape this fight when I'm done with PFL, I'll come back to it, see if there's any plays. But yeah, front kick MMA. Lupi did rock heel in the first. Yeah, so that's good. So I mean, heel has an iron chin, so that's a good sign, I guess.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Karl Williams, Chase Sherman. Please tell me how many units you have on Chase Sherman, sir.
Yeah, so like you just said, man, if I have any will to tape this after PFL, then I will, but I don't think I will have it. This is a short notice, so I haven't taped it yet, but I know the fighters pretty well, you know. I mean, at the end of the day, Karl Williams is going to shoot like 15 takedowns in this fight, so I don't really want to bet on Chase Sherman in this spot. I was thinking about the over because Karl Williams just can't crack an egg, but thing is, like, Chase Sherman might crack himself because when he's on the ground, when he's on the ground, he's not it, man. He's not it. So I'm kind of hesitating on that spot as well. But I don't know. Have you taped it yet? Because it's quite a short notice fight.
I have taped it just before we went live. So I laid minus 200 on Karl Williams on the day of that fight last week. So I taped it first when he was like pick 'em.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think I got swayed. That was the beginning of my bad run. I was starting to get swayed back then, which I never do. And I'm just like, I got swayed by you can't play Karl Williams. It's too one-dimensional. I think it moved from minus, it was like $1.60. So it moved. He was already a juice favorite. And everyone's like, you can't play Karl Williams. You can't play Karl Williams. You know, juice, he's so one-dimensional. Bresky has good get-ups. And as the week went on, I'm like, dude, well, why am I not playing it? Like, this guy's got all the advantages in the world. Bresky has no KO power. How is he going to win? So I just ended up putting thousands on Williams at -200 on the day of the fight. Because I was like, it's just what my gut tells me. And, he almost knocked him out. He hurt him. He just ran through him, right?
Yeah.
But even then, I was sweating. That, he couldn't. I taped it right before we went live, and Bresky got up, and he's definitely got better get-ups than Chase Sherman, right? There's no doubt about it. That's why it was a risky play. But it's just the cardio sucks. And I did, people playing decision, Carl Williams decision. I mentioned on my podcast originally, I said, this guy can crack, man, for a light. He's a big light heavyweight. And now he's not an undersized heavyweight, in my opinion. He's big, dude. And he can crack, and he just doesn't throw his hands. And he actually did crack Bresky. I almost finished him in round 2 when he was gassed. And I was like, this is what I saw on tape for the little bit that he was throwing. And I'm like, maybe we get a good, finish prop because he's such a decision machine, right?
Yeah.
And the bookies are on it, man. Like, it's, again, his finish is favored over decision. I don't get it. Like, that's so weird from my past experience. You see, usually bookies wiki cap a bit, right? Wouldn't you agree? When they set their lines?
I mean, yeah. I don't know if they actually wiki cap, but in this spot, I would definitely assume them to be, favoring the Carl Williams decision.
But they're not. The KO is like barely plus money, and decision is, got a bit more juice on it, which is, I think, the same as Bresky. And it's like, why? I'm not going to play that crappy finish line. That's horrible.
No.
But yeah, what I saw from tape, man, is I was sweating in that Bresky fight. I was sweating, and that wasn't a short notice fight. You can fill me in, maybe. I double checked because I was going to talk about it on the podcast. It wasn't a short notice. So Williams was preparing for Bresky. He looked absolutely done after the first round. Obviously, he wrestled. He's got that grit in him. You know how the wrestlers, even when they're tired, they can push through.
Yeah.
Whereas Bresky didn't. But even then, he was getting cracked. Bresky has no power. Sherman at least has power. I'll give him that. He's hittable. So it's just like, now it's taking this fight not even a month later. It's just like, oh man, do I put at least $200 on Sherman for the culture? This, in a weird way, this is a step up from Bresky, right? Surely you agree with me. It has to be a step up.
Yeah, I do.
In a weird way.
It is. Bresky's terrible.
Yeah, so it's just like, that I'll lay the juice on Karl there, but yeah, this one, Sherman, man, if he can get up a few times, and if he can get up in rounds 2 and 3 and not get finished, he's gonna be live to crack this guy. But yeah, it's a shit show.
He's gonna get taken down so much though. Like, you want him to do like a come from behind win, Chase Sherman. Like, he's not known for that,
Hey, Bandera.
Yeah, I mean, he got a 3rd round finish, but it was like 1-1, shitty fight going back on. It's not like he dug deep and came from behind. In this fight, he needs to dig deep, in my opinion. Like, he looks like he's breaking after every fight, man. Like, after every round, Chase Sherman, he just looks like he doesn't want to be in there. And if you're getting taken down and grounded like 5, 6, 7 times, like, Williams won't stop with takedowns. I just, it's a big ask for Chase Sherman to get up from the ground like 10 times and come back and get a knockout. Like, I don't know, man. He's a big price. I don't want to stop anyone from playing a massive underdog in a heavyweight fight against Carl Williams, who's unknown. Like, I wouldn't be playing Carl Williams at this price. No way. But I don't know. I won't play Sherman either.
Yeah, I think he might get $100 from me by Sherman KO. We'll see. Yeah. But what I will say is, I don't think he'll have to get up 10 times because I think one takedown and Sherman won't be getting up. So he just has to get up 3 times. He just has to get up off his stool every time at the start of the next round.
Yeah.
which he actually might not do either. Now that you mention it, he might just give up on there. But we'll see. Let's move on to a good fight. Let me just address this comment. Shakhtar Donetsk. Hi, Mr. Steve. How do you join your Discord? It's in my Twitter, man. Just jump on my Twitter, and it should be in this breakdown in my bio.
What language is that? Russian?
I thought it was Serbian for a second because I could read that. But then I saw the letter right before the K at the end. That's not a Serbian letter. Everything else is a Serb. Like, that's a D.
So it's Russian.
Has to be Russian. Oh, it's probably Ukrainian because Shakhtar is it's a Ukrainian soccer team.
So they're all like super similar. You can read the other languages fairly simply.
Yeah, Serbia has its own like alphabet called like Cyrillica, which is like those letters. And then we have another alphabet which is like English.
Would you be able to speak? Would you be able to speak with a Serbian, or would you be able to speak with a Russian or a Ukrainian?
No, not really. We did Russian. Russian was like an elective in grade 3.
Yeah.
And I just said, well, why the fuck am I learning Russian? So I wasn't in the class. I got a free period for 45 minutes. My mom was like, no, you don't need to learn that shit.
Yeah.
There's a couple of words like yes is the same and stuff like that. But yeah, it'll be hard to hold a conversation if they speak quickly and, you know.
I see.
Oh, what's this? The website is broke on your Twitter. I'm gonna have to look into it. Maybe they're shutting me. The Matrix is shutting me down. All right, let's move on. Gerald, Meerschaert, Joseph Pyfer. First fight I taped actually. People telling me to tape it. There might be some value here. Obviously, the line hasn't moved. I left with no strong convictions. I actually probably should go through my notes because this was about a week ago now. GM3, I mean, so hard to trust, but the guy, makes you a fortune if you bet him, as a massive underdog. I guess I can see him getting an upset here. If he's going to upset anyone, it will be Joseph Pyfer, who to my eye personally, or Pyfer, pardon me, I could be getting it wrong. To my eye, definitely seems maybe he's still a bit green. Like he is improving. He's 26 years old. Fought nobody. Ozzy Diaz had some back and forth there, had his back taken. He initiated the grappling, but then he had his own back taken. You would hope that he would initiate the grappling here, but he does use wrestling a lot, especially in his regional scene. Really explosive, strong guy, who have no trouble getting takedowns in GM3, right? The guy loves, he lives his whole life on his back. So yeah, if you wanted to, you can definitely do that. But yeah, bad move in my opinion. And on the feet, Gerald Meerschaert, I've been trying to fade this guy forever and, losing money up until finally he started to get knocked out by, Heinisch and Kamzat. And then, I started to, play him by sub and just kind of turned it around. But yeah, the guy still has the same weaknesses. He's still hittable. He's still slow as all hell. He's chinny, but he just makes it work. He's a weasel. He's a weasel. He'll kind of just put his chin on a platter there. He'll get hit. He'll get dropped. He'll flop to his back. And if the fight goes long, he will, just wait for one opportunity to jump on your back or get a guillotine. Just the veteran of all veterans. But in this one, it's just, like I said, Pyfer just comes slow. He's plotting. He's not as fast. I feel like Gerald has beaten better fighters than Pyfer before. Muradov, a lot more quick. What was that?
I said, of course.
Yeah, a lot quicker, a lot more explosive. Like I said, speed is the problem. And Pyfer is a bit slow, but he does have that one-punch KO power. Yeah. Silva, that Silva fight, if he beat the original Bruno Silva that went to war with Alex Pereira, then yeah, but that was such a washed version of Alex Silva. I can't really count that as a big win. And then, getting grounded out by Jotko and almost getting grounded out by Stolfitz is a really bad fighter, in my opinion. So yeah, I left with no strong opinion, I left with more of the, I would rather live bet GM3 if he gets to rounds 1 and 2. And on tape, you can kind of see Pyfer also blowing heavy, blowing hard. I think he's a big guy, but he doesn't exert himself. He's just 1 or 2 punches, pressures, and he knows that he carries his power late. So it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I think Gerald, if he pressures, I think he can get some good volume with his own striking. I think his straight left and his body kicks underrated power because he is a big guy, even though he's slow as all hell. But if he does pressure, I think he's live to eat a big counter shot from Pyfer. Pyfer likes to counter on the back foot. But yeah, what is there to say? The under 1.5 is not bad, but it's just, I feel like it's going to go a bit longer. Yeah, I think I'd rather live bet GM3 if he does make it out. He's probably going to be losing on points in a decision. But yeah, if it goes longer, I think Pyfer might make a mistake or two. But yeah, at this point, if you are playing Pyfer, I'd rather play the $1.80 finish. It's still minus money, but a guy that hits that hard, man, I think he's pretty live to knock out GM3. Just, I have no conviction on this fight. Sorry to be boring, but what about you, mate?
Yeah, I understand like the live angle. It makes sense because then you take away the first round, which is always Gerald's scariest round, because what happens with Gerald is like when he gets Gerald. Yeah, Gerald. What happens is when he gets in his rhythm and his flow, he's kind of able to see shots a little bit better. I think he makes good reads. I think he manages distance well after a few times when he's been punched, right? And sometimes he gets knocked out. So I understand that, but I'd also be worried. Like, I maybe wouldn't wait till the first round's over. I'd wait till like half of the first round, play it in round. Because the thing is like, if you look at the Silva fight, he won the first round. Look good value there. Look big favorite. And even in the Muradov fight, he got smashed bad, but then end of the round, he came back, like hurt Muradov a few times. So it's just a bit risky because I know that is going to be a very, very popular angle. So just a word of warning from my point of view. But I'll play Gerald, man. I mean, I don't know why is this fight not a pick'em? I mean, it makes no sense. All right, Pyfer can knock him out. Okay, maybe he doesn't knock him out. I mean, what is he going to knock him out 60% of the time in round one? Don't know about that. Like, this fight is a clear pick'em to me. Gerald's fought, like, it's not even comparable who Gerald's fought and competed against and beat. If he loses to Joe Pyfer, it'll be his worst loss in his entire career. He's never lost to a worse fighter than Joe Pyfer, other than over a decade ago when he's on the regional scene fighting bums. Doesn't matter. It's a different person. He's a kid back then. So, worst loss he's ever had if he loses this. Cardio upside. I mean, do I have to go on? This fight is a clear pick'em to me. So I understand that Pyfer might knock him out, but I think it's a 50-50. So I'll play Gerald at a decent dog odds. And I'm going to play him in round 3 as well, because like Daz says, round 3, GM 3 is like an auto bet. So I'll be sprinkling that a little bit as well.
Yeah, I can't fault it at all, man. Like I said, it feels like this is a step down for GM3, right? It feels like it's just the speed. Like, how does this... If this goes to round 3, like, Pyfer's not really a big minute winner, right? You would agree with that?
Yeah, not really. He gasses, man. He gasses.
Yeah, like I said, well, we don't know if he gasses, but he does look like he does gas.
He gassed in the from Petty fight bad, but he did shoot. Like, he was going. I don't know if you saw the fight. It's hard to find, but I mean, it's not that hard. But it's some fight pass. You have to type in Ring of Combat 70. But he gassed bad in that fight, man. Like, he shot like 10 takedowns, and he was done by round 2, and he got submitted.
Yeah, I mean, that alone in itself, getting guillotined by Josephine Patti is just a red flag of all red flags. Yeah. But I do think he's improving. He's training with the boys now, with the Gracie boys, right? With Sean Brady and whatnot. But that could also be, maybe he's overconfident. Like the fact that he took Diaz and instantly got his back taken. It's like maybe his jiu-jitsu is not that good,
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with you, man. I can't fault it. This is probably one that I'm going to retake. But yeah, let's move on. Alrighty. I just checked that link, by the way. And yes, my Discord is broken. I don't know why. But what the hell is going on? But I'll fix it. And I'll upload it on my Twitter. The Matrix, I'm telling you.
They're trying to shut you down, bro. They took my video down on YouTube yesterday. They're trying to silence us, man. They're coming after the gamblers. They're coming after the sharps. They're leaving the squares up. Did you see,
a bit off topic, did you see that the court case in Australia over sports bet limiting people in Canberra?
Yeah, man. I saw that. It's hilarious. The guy don't know what he's just repeating bollocks, isn't he? But I didn't watch it all. Can you explain to me exactly what it was?
Oh, the lady, like, good on her. The lady's just grilling him.
Yeah.
She's just saying, do you limit people that are successful winners? Like, do you ban them? And he's like, oh, no, we just ban people that look like they're cheating and they have an edge. She goes, you're not answering my question. What if they don't have an edge? What if they're not cheating? He goes, no, well, we assume that they have an edge and they're cheating. And she's like, and she got so frustrated and she's like, I'm just going to assume you block him because you're not answering my question. And he's like,
she's a gambler. She said as well, she's like, you know what she said? She was like, because I have a mate who got banned from you. That's her account, bro. She's just angry.
Yeah, that's fair. But the thing is, I don't even know why that went to court. I was under the impression that it's all in their terms and conditions and they can do whatever they want. So legally, I don't even know why it's in court. Like, I don't know what the point of that is.
But do you know what the actual court... I know that question specifically, but because I saw the clip, but Do you know what the actual court case was over? Was it
No,
actually
no.
over?
I just keep seeing clips of it, and it's obviously in Canberra in Australia, so it just caught my attention. I was like, but yeah, sports bet is not. They're never going to not, stop banning people. So
Everyone does it. But it's good though. It's good it's getting shown, shows them for what they are.
yeah, I mean, my friends get upset when I tell them. I'm like, it's just life, bro. It's
got to pivot.
Yeah, it's part of life. You just pivot.
Yeah.
Better than myself. All right, my thing's fixed. If anyone wants to sign up to that Discord, it's on my Twitter. I fixed it. It was actually a rookie move by me. I ran out of spots to type, so my link wasn't fully done. Yeah, idiot. All right, let's move on. Michelle Waterson-Gomez, Luana Pinheiro. Now this is the one. This is the one that I said James Blissett has a play on the dog here. I get it. Luana Pinheiro gasses. I actually faded her against Ronda Marcos, and I loved. Say what you will about Ronda and how she comes out and fought like an idiot, got judo thrown 100,000 times, but that was slowing down Luana, and she was getting lit up by Ronda Marcos. So I love that. I love that game plan. Didn't love the illegal up kick that lost me my money in the end, but I loved it. Right. So then I'm not sure if I faded her against. I think I live bet Hughes. Yeah, and that was like, Hughes just didn't fight what she had to do. She has plenty of cardio, and she didn't take advantage of it. And she was still winning rounds 2 until she got dropped. And ultimately, at the end of that fight, I've taped that fight so many times, and it's like, end of the day, Luana Pinheiro still won a 30-27 on 2 judges' scorecards. And say what you will about her gassing, and she's still got so many intangibles. Hits like a truck for a woman. Obviously carries her power in late rounds 2 and 3. Just doesn't always throw. She blitzes. She'll get judo throws on anyone. I think she's a black belt in jiu-jitsu as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. So tons of upside, and I just couldn't get around to playing Michelle Waterson-Gomez. At 37 years of age, and she's always backing up. She's never really putting stamps on her fights. I quickly went through her whole career just to refresh myself on what is it that Waterson does well, and she just kind of sticks on the outside and kicks, and occasionally she'll mix in takedowns, and even then, she's getting reversed by female fighters like Felice Herring. Back then Felice was kind of on a little bit of a run. Split decisions to Courtney Casey. Just couldn't get it. Just couldn't get myself to play the dog. Her wrestling looked the best it's ever looked against Amanda Lemos. 2 for 2 on the takedowns. Shot for a takedown round 1, easy takedown. Shot for a takedown round 2, easy takedown. Followed by guillotine, obviously, which is not a good sign. But usually her entries are really, really bad. Usually struggles to get takedowns early. Her best takedown is like a judo throw. Go figure. Is she going to hit that on someone like Luana Pinheiro? I'm going to assume no. So ultimately I just passed. It's just I see Michelle Waterson's path to victory as a really close split decision, unless she comes out there with the Ronda Marcos game plan. And she says in the interviews, she's not going to back up. But how many times have I heard that? Probably her last 5 fights that she's not going to back up. You're a karate fighter. Like, karate fighters back up. Like, what else is she going to do? So I'm passing, and I just thought to myself, James is probably going to hit Gomez here because he's going to say, plus money dog like this in females, you have to hit it. And I'm pretty sure you hit Waterson over Lemos. Maybe you didn't. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know you love Lemos.
No, I didn't.
But that was another pass for me, and everyone was screaming, how much of a good play they had. But at the end of the day, Michelle Waterson still got guillotined. So it's a pass for me, man. It's a pass for me. I'll look to live bet it again. I've been getting absolutely destroyed on the live bets, but I mean, look at my live bets. Leah McCourt and Chidi and Chikwani and Andrea Lee. So I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and it's eventually going to swing back in my favor. If anything, I'll probably play Waterson by decision sprinkle. But then again, she's a good back taker. Maybe she takes Luana's back. Who knows? What do you say, mate?
Yeah, so see, this is the thing, man. Like, you think I bet on Waterson, right? But I don't just blanket bet dogs, man. It's important, right? As a gambler,
we say that. I just assumed this was a bet for you.
See, that's why I win money, because I'm looking at this fight and I look over all of the fights And I don't just say, women's MMA, I'll just bet the dog or like. This is not one of those fights. I actually not only didn't bet Waterson, I bet Pinheiro in this spot. So how about that?
Oh, that's
so I didn't bet Waterson. Yeah, so I faded Waterson. So I feel like she's washed. I think she's done. Yeah, she looked decent against Lemos, but what's she gonna do? She got no finishing upside in this fight. Yeah, back take, whatever. Like she ain't got finishing upside in my opinion. Pinheiro, like you said, hits like a truck. She's gonna run forward. She's gonna land bombs. If Michelle does go for a takedown, then honestly, I think she gets judo throwed a couple of times. For me, man, I just feel like Michelle's 37, 38 years old. She's past it at this point in her career. Pinheiro's on an up streak. Like you said, Michelle probably has to get a close split decision. We know the judges are favoring damage over grappling and stuff like that. So I played Pinheiro, bro. I think Pinheiro is a good spot here. We'll see, man. Maybe Michelle pulls off the veteran upset, because that is always in play with these fighters who've just been around the game. Sometimes they can just sneak a win like Jessica Penne did over Lupita Godinez, inexperienced girl, like Pinheiro, Godinez at the time. It's possible, but like you said, close split decision is an upside, whereas I think Pinheiro can finish the Karate Hottie. I know Karate Hottie is very, very tough, but I think she can finish her, and I think she can 30-27 her. Everyone wants to talk about Pinheiro being gassy, but if she was gassy, she would not have got 30-27 on two judges' scorecards against Sam Hughes. That wouldn't have happened. If you're gassy, Sam Hughes is going to expose that gas. So, yeah, I played Pinheiro, man.
Yeah, fair play. You surprised me, man. Surprised me. I don't know if I have the balls to play her just because, the juice and that gassiness. And some could argue even what we saw in that Ronda Marcos fight, maybe there's a bit of quit in there too. A lot. You don't want to assume, but a lot of the time when we see that, when I've seen it on tape, he ends up showing its ugly head, some other time too. So, but yeah, for me, I would rather play, the favorite here, just because, 37-year-old Waterson, when she's at a athleticism disadvantage, she gets the crap kicked out of her early, man. Even that Angela Lee fight, Angela Lee looked like a ranked fighter, like top 5 fighter against Waterson, and Waterson did what she had to do, but in a 3-rounder, Angela Hill wins a clean 29-28 for the first time in her career. It doesn't go to a split. She was just lighting up Gomez. Yeah, fair play, man. Fair play. Good luck. I hope it hits. Yeah.
See, I'm full of surprises, bro. I'm full of surprises.
I still feel like I've got you down, Pat. But yeah, you kept me on the toes with that one. Let's. The comments are going off tap. Let's address the comments because wouldn't be anywhere without the people in the chat.
Yeah.
And I do enjoy it when they join me, especially when I'm going solo. Where do we start? There's a lot going on in here. Jesus. Sean Hanning. Just having a little chat.
We've got a few of my guys in here. Shout out to Sean, Daz.
Yeah, Daz is yours.
Daz is the man.
Yeah, we'll see. He's got a lot of work to do with me. I don't even know him.
Nah, he's the man. That's the man.
Where are all the hottie simps? All I'm going to say is this fight was really hard for me to tape. It was hard. It was distracting from both sides. Victor J. De Jesus. What's up, Steve James in chat? What up, dude? Wisdom tooth. Yeah. Nothing interesting, so let's move on. All right, Kevin Gastelum, Chris Curtis. I have an early line and on Kevin Gastelum. Last week after the event ended, I usually take a break, and I thought one of the advantages of being in Australia, our lines move maybe quite slower compared to the rest of the world. You might find that as well in New Zealand. And I saw it was still $2.20, $2.30, and which is what plus $1.30 for the American viewers. And I went into the Discord and I said, boys, I'm not taping anything till Monday. But I just put some money in Gastelum. It's trending towards pick, and we can worry about it later. And I did not expect Gastelum to be a favorite at this point. To me, this still felt like a pick-on fight where I can't really get a read. I wouldn't trust either guy. I taped Chris Curtis versus Buckley because I was at a wedding where that fight was happening. I cashed Curtis no scorecards at like $2.50, which I thought was insane. I thought Curtis had all the durability. He was probably going to be losing minutes, and Buckley was chinny. And watching that fight, man, he was losing that fight big on minutes. Like, the guy just didn't throw anything for 2.5 rounds up until he did. And that's kind of how his career goes.
Yeah.
I'm not going to retape Kevin Gastelum. Man, I've taped that Gastelum Cannonier fight so many times, and I can't believe that's still Kevin's last fight in his career. It's just, the guy keeps pulling out. So I'm not watching that again. I remember I always talk about it. I live bet it. I thought it was going to be split. They gave Cannonier like 4 rounds to 1, surprisingly. I think he just kept getting away on knockdowns. So yeah, it's a step down for Kevin. I've got like $800 to win 1,000 something. I would have put a whole unit, but I'm just going through the limiting phase, which I still haven't fixed. It's bumming me out, but we'll get through it. But I think ultimately that's as much as I want on it, like a little bit over half a unit. And I'll probably like arb out as well. To me, this is still a pick and fight. And, Kevin, younger, he should have more volume. I think they're both crack. I think they're both durable. Curtis is not in his prime, man. He's like 35 years old. He's never addressed his weaknesses of the volume and the crappy footwork. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave the half a unit on Kevin. I'm gonna arb out a little bit just so I win half a unit. I barely lose anything if Chris gets an upset. And yeah, that's all I have to say about this fight. I haven't looked it deep into it, but what about you, mate?
Don't arb out. Kelvin's gonna win. Kelvin shouldn't have been a dog. You have to respect the market sometimes. I did a video on that the other day. Like, sometimes you respect the market and sometimes you don't. And that's the whole game, isn't it? That's basically what the game boils down to. But I respect the market. I am part of the market on this movement because I got Kelvin as a dog as well. The viewers are lucky. I'm just giving out loads of bets, man. The viewers are going to be rich this weekend, boy. You better cash at me some tips or something if all of these dogs that I'm giving you cash. I guess Kelvin's not a dog now, though. But yeah, I think Kelvin's got the advantages here. I mean, he's got much better. How can I say it? He's got much better volume. He's going to throw leg kicks, which is one more thing that Curtis does. I mean, Curtis only throws punches, so at least Gastelum's going to throw leg kicks. He's going to throw punches. He's in and out. I like the darting in and out style when you're fighting Chris Curtis. I know Kelvin is a boxer, but he's in and out with the boxing. He's not like a Brendan Allen is a little bit more stationary, right? He got knocked out. Obviously, Buckley is in and out as well, but I don't think Buckley's got a good durability, whereas Kelvin has an amazing chin. Kelvin's got one of the best chins in that middleweight division, man. Like, honestly, he's took some haymakers from a lot of fighters, and he's got great recoverability. He does get dropped a few times, but great recoverability. I just feel like he's got advantages in this fight, man. He's going to have more volume. The wrestling upside is there. All right, he might not be able to ground him, but I think he can shoot in. I think he can push him up against the cage. I think he can dance around him a little bit like that. So, yeah, Kelvin might be washed. I don't really know. Kelvin might be washed. If Kelvin is washed, then obviously it looks like a bad bet, whatever. But yeah, I think Kelvin's going to win like a 30-27, 29-28 or something like that. He's taking a step down in competition. Last time he took a step down in competition, he steamrolled Ian Heinisch. So, I think that's in play here. And Kelvin has been training. I know he's not had fights in a few years, but he has still been training. He's pulled out a few times. So I like Kelvin here. I don't think it's like massive value, but I do think he should be about minus 150.
If you think he should be a favorite, then that's decent value, man. For me, a pick'em, there's still a bit of value in pick'em. That's what, 30 cents. I usually don't.
Is it pick'em or is it favorite? Any?
No, like in terms of how you personally line it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like, what do you mean? Because it's not. No, I line Kelvin about minus 150, but it's not. Yeah. It's not a pick'em now though. It's like minus 140, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you line him as a favorite, then there's a ton of value on that underdog line. But Yeah.
I mean now.
Yeah. I personally feel like it's a pick'em in my head, like just because I don't know if Gastelum is washed. It's just hard to trust him. It's hard to say he's washed when he's losing to Whitaker, Cannonier in a close decision, but then again he's also losing to Darren Till, and he's getting finished by.
You've seen the decline. Like, I know he's fought good guys, but you can see slight decline in those fights. I can see it, like athletically, and there's just something a little bit off about him.
Yeah, I mean, when you fight some of these fighters that are like really good at 22, they start to get burnt out a bit sooner than 35. So yeah, but to me, it's just like it's hard to trust the guy. He's got his teeth knocked in. So let's say pick him. I'm always trying to give the bookie is a little bit more leniency. I don't want to be like, oh, he's a favorite, because he could still not look amazing. But if it's a pick 'em, there's still, I got 25 cents value there, so, or 35 cents. My maths is off. So, yeah, I might just leave it, man. Like you say, I might just leave it. Gastelum, not Gastelum. Curtis probably a good live bet, because the guy drops so many rounds, man. So many round ones. Even to Vieira, right? He dropped a round to Rodolfo Vieira. He got outstruck. He got outstruck by Rodolfo Vieira. That's all you need to know. All right, let's move on. Rosas Jr., Christian Rodriguez. What a great fight, man. Absolute barn burner.
Oh, yeah.
You want to take this one away?
Yeah, bro, I'll take it away. This is my favorite fight on the card. People are going to be like, stop being such a hippie, man. You know what I mean? We got Alex Pereira on the card. We got Rob Font. Nah, man, I like these questions being answered, and I got a ton of questions on Rosas, Christian Rodriguez. Like the upcoming fighters when they fight. I love that. So, two of my fights that I really want to make happen is Gabriel Bonfim versus Jack Della Maddalena. That would be like my dream fight. And then Topuria versus Evlo Everwell. Like these fighters who are not maybe at the top level, but I like to see them fight. And the same thing with Christian Rodriguez and Raul Rosas. Rosas looks like a world beater. Yeah. Looks like Khabib, whatever you want to say. 2.0. Yeah. The guy's 18 and he hasn't fought anyone, all right? So let's just slow down on Raul Rosas Jr. He could be the goods. I don't know. Is he minus 250? Well, apparently he is, but I don't think he should be minus 250, man. Christian Rodriguez is legit, bro. He's a much better striker than Rosas. I can say that with confidence. Now, Rosas can win. Like, Rosas will do a spinning back kick and it will look good and then jump into a takedown and then everyone will be like, he was outstriking him. No, he landed like one or two good shots. I think if this fight is a 15-minute kickboxing fight, Christian Rodriguez is going to dominate. You know what I mean? He's a much better striker. He's able to judge range better. And then the fight's going to be won on the grappling, though, of course, right? We know who the better striker is. Raul Rosas is going to go El Nino Problema, right? That's what he calls himself, apparently, according to Tapology there. He's going to go forward. He's going to spam takedowns. And he's going to try and get Christian Rodriguez on the ground. And he's going to try and dominate. He's going to try and backpack him. I know we've seen C-Rod taken down multiple times in the UFC. Dominated by JSP, taken down a million times. Taken down like 3 times against whoever that dude is. He just submitted. I can't remember the Anaconda choke, whatever that guy's name was. He was taken down multiple times by him. But I think C-Rod is obviously going to know in this fight that he's up against someone who's just going to consistently take him down. And on top of that, I think he can, I've been saying this week, I think he can reverse takedown attempts with jiu-jitsu. So I think he can play his front headlock series, which is good. He's got very good guillotine. We saw that against JSP. Very good Anaconda, switched into the DAS. We've seen that in his last fight. So I think he can use that to reverse position. I also believe that he can sweep Rosas Jr. We saw in Dana White's Contender Series, this Rosas guy, he got swept like 2 times. It looked like he was gassing out at some point. Like, it wasn't just plain sailing for him against a fighter who's not UFC level. C-Rod is a serious prospect, man. I think this guy can actually do some damage in the division. I think he's getting better as well, as is Rosas. This line is way off pre-fight. I would be going heavy on this if there wasn't big question marks on how good Rosas is. I think the line's way off, but that's because of the question marks. It's different from thinking a line's way off when I know the 2 fighters really well. But I don't know the 2 fighters well. So I think the line's way off, but it could just turn out that Rosas is this insane grappler and he can just do it to anybody. The only person who can do that in the bantamweight division, by the way, is Aljamain Sterling and maybe Umar Nurmagomedov, like the 2 best fighters in the whole division. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just grapple fuck people in bantamweight. It doesn't happen. So I've got a couple of units on C-Rod here. He's plus 200. There's more money coming in on Raul Rosas, so I disagree with the market here. Yeah, I'll be playing C-Rod. C-Rod submission is plus 1100. Yeah, we'll see, man. He could get exposed. I could look like an idiot, but I'm planting my flag and saying this line is wrong, and I'm playing C-Rod.
Yeah, man. Can't disagree with a lot of what you said. Yeah, it's a dog or pass for me. It's a dog or pass for me as well. Both these guys are good, and I agree with you saying this is the favorite fight because it is for me as well, man. This is Rodriguez is an absolute animal, man. I cashed him by submission, which was way off in the last one against Joshua Weems is the name you were looking for.
Yeah.
I was just in the toilet, so I couldn't. When you were asking who it was, I couldn't help you out, unless I screamed from the other room. But yeah, I mean that line was completely off, and the dude, has really good guillotine chokes. Had a really close one on Pierce. Now that Pierce, I see that Pierce fight. Everyone is crapping on him. Man, he took that up at featherweight, and he looked fat. He looked out of shape. It was on short notice too. Apparently, people have trained with him say that he didn't train at all for that fight. And the performance that he put in that fight, you see what Pierce is doing to people on full camp, and he's running through them, he's breaking them, he's submitting him. And, Rodriguez goes in there and he looks gassed after one round. And he's still stuffing takedowns in rounds 2. He's still getting out of mount. He's getting out of back control. And in rounds 3, he stuffs a takedown, has a beautiful sprawl. And then he gets Jonathan Pierce's back and he's looking for a rear naked choke when he's absolutely gassed. All right, and now he's going up against this kid that, like you said, he's been losing positions to Mando Gutierrez on Contender Series. Now, that fight was a 30-27, right? Gutierrez just kept going for guillotines and just kept falling off, trying to go for the back take. Like you say, he's not a UFC level guy. He might be one day. I think he went back to winning. He's got a good guillotine himself, and Rosas showed me that he does have really good guillotine defense. Stay calm in there and then jumps to the other side, which is what you want to do to alleviate the pressure. Like the reason I haven't pulled the trigger on Christian Rodriguez, it's because it feels like Rosas could be the real deal, man. Like this kid it does seem very good. Like he's got the intangibles. Like you said he kind of slowed gasses. It looked like he could have gassed. I just thought like he really does have good cardio. Like he was still still had more in the tank than Gutierrez, and he doesn't really conserve himself. It's just all systems go, constant takedowns over and over again, and it's like
he got his exact, not to cut you off, but he got his perfect fight in that spot. I don't know if he's going to have great cardio if he's getting stuffed.
You're right. He did. He had a guy that kept pulling guillotine, right? And even then he was but he was a guy that was good at jiu-jitsu. Like I didn't want to play him at juice there. I know some people that hammered him, and it's like I don't want to play this 17-year-old kid against the guy that's got power and he's got good jiu-jitsu, and whenever he gets on top on regionals, he finishes everyone. Like what if he gets on top of this 17-year-old kid that's just fought cab drivers? And then, Rosas showed me that that's decent, He's just 30-27, this man, with power and good guillotines. And then, Jay Perrin, I played the over there. I didn't want to play Jay Perrin, but I played the over thinking Perrin can survive. Perrin went with black belts before, on the regionals, the Silva from LFA and, Batista, who's submitting everyone, and he survived. And then, Rosas just runs through him. And it's like, man, maybe this kid's for real, right? And yeah, but Christian's good, man. Christian is good. That loss to Pierce is enough for me to just to bet him here. Yeah. But it's hard. I just feel like both these kids are improving. We can see an improvement from Junior as well. We can see an improvement for Rodriguez. I agree. Rodriguez is going to be lighting him up on the feet. Maybe we see improvement from. I had this deep down feeling that apparently Rosas was probably going to be improving in his stand up. I mean, he can't get any worse. Right? Yeah, can't get any worse. He's 18. Yeah. It's just I was hoping that the money will be coming on Rosas, but it doesn't seem to be. Maybe the people are catching on. I was hoping they would absolutely steam it. I see people on
minus 250 is massive, man.
It is. It's the same price as Jay Perrin, which is just ridiculous, right? Perrin was no danger. He just had to win a split decision somehow. Whereas Rodriguez, has the stand up, has the chokes, has the scrambling. Dog or pass for me, man. I will be transparent. I did play a little bit on Rodriguez at $3, plus 200, and then he moved to $2.80, and I was like, yes, I timed it. But now it went back to $3 again. So it doesn't seem like it's going to move from here. I feel like sharp money is going to come on both sides. It might just, unless right before the event, pay-per-views usually get steamed right before the event starts, right before the fight starts. So, dog or pass for me, man. I'm just gonna see where it goes, but I'm so close, man. And I like that Rodriguez submission stab as well. Rosas does seem to have good submission defense, but doesn't mean he can't be submitted, right? If he's going to put his head in guillotines over and over again, you might have to just play the number, right?
Yeah, and it's like he's going to be shooting for takedowns, and if he starts getting stuffed, I think he's going to get beat up on the feet. And if he starts gassing, he's going to shoot for a takedown, and we know that's a recipe for disaster, So it's got good submission defense when, he's getting the takedowns, his fight's going his way. But if he's getting beat up, I don't know what his submission defense looks like. You heard the old saying, you punch a black belt once, he turns into a brown belt. Punch him twice, turns into a white belt, whatever it is. So I don't know, man. It's plus 1100 easy step for me, but we'll see.
Yep. I agree there. Let's move on. We got Kevin Holland versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. My first locked-in play of the day. I played Holland by finish.
Yeah.
I honestly expected this to be maybe slight plus money. Maybe Holland finished by pick'em. You usually see with his juice lines. And yeah, taping it. I guess I understand maybe why it's not more steamed. Santiago, hard for days, no quit. He can get knocked down 4 times against Morono and still come back and knock him out. Yeah, just an absolute line. And can you really trust Holland to finish the guy? You can probably drop him and then just let him stand up and recover. And I get it, but man, Holland, I feel like there's a lot of recency bias on this fight. After Wonderboy kicked the crap out of him, I think now I see the same stuff about Holland all the time. You can't bet him at this line. He's not trustworthy, this and that. But the fact is, if Holland is at least semi taking it seriously in there, he will finish like 90% of his opponents, right? He's finished better opponents than Ponzinibbio. He's finished Fluffy Hernandez. He's ran through Buckley at middleweight. Like, he's running through high-level guys, right? Tim Means, Alex Oliveira, they're a little bit more washed. But, Means was on a winning streak, right? If you don't give Means ranked fighters, he'll give everyone a fight. And, Holland in that fight and in the Oliveira fight, yeah, he had some adversity, right? He's getting calf kicked, getting taken down. But, man, when he sits down on that 1-2 with his 81 inches of reach, he can knock out anyone. And he's got a good submission game as well. I just think this is an overcorrection on someone like Ponzinibbio that, since returning, has been knocked out by Leach and then has been dropped or wobbled by Baeza, Neal. I watched Neal. I think Neal has improved now. I think the Neal that fought even Shavkat would absolutely run through Ponzinibbio. Like, Shavkat has an ungodly chin. Pereira was just sticking and moving on the outside. The worst shot that Ponzinibbio took from Pereira for 2 rounds was a tip to the gut. And even that looked like he was stunning him, wobbling him. And then, obviously, Ponzinibbio started coming on strong, and then Pereira started throwing punches, and Ponzinibbio was all bloodied up. At that point, Pereira was gassed. And then, Morono, like, short notice, overweight, at catch weight, just every single shot that he threw, he's just wobbling him and dropping him. And I live bet Ponzinibbio there. I thought he could potentially be 1-1. Even though he got dropped in round 2, I thought the constant volume from Ponzinibbio maybe got him the round. And then he got hurt again in round 3. I'm like, this bet is done. And then he just came out and got me a KO, and he was down 2-0. So I get why people are playing the dog. Maybe I have a sneaking suspicion that you're on Ponzinibbio, but I reckon you're not. But yeah, I think if you're going to play Ponzinibbio, play him by decision. I think, again, his path is a close decision here after getting hurt or dropped multiple times. I see people saying they can't play Holland after 5 months out, after taking a beating from Wonderboy and having a broken hand. A broken hand takes 4 weeks to heal, right? I broke my arm twice in the same spot, and each time it took me 4 weeks to heal with a cast on, right? It's been 5 months, dude. Like, and he didn't even get dropped once by Wonderboy. So say what you will about him taking a beating. The guy didn't even get dropped. Probably didn't even have a concussion. He just took a bunch of body kicks and broke his arm from hitting Wonderboy in the head. That 1-2 that he wobbled Wonderboy with, Santiago's not surviving that. So yeah, I got half a unit on Holland by finish, 700 to win like 1,000 something. I think the line really should be minus money. Yeah, the only way I see this losing is if Holland kind of just keeps dropping him and doesn't finish him. And at that point, I think there's going to be a mercy stoppage. I think Santiago is going to be a bloody mess by the end of this fight. He'll fight for your money, but his defense is just defense, reaction time, hands low. Yeah, he wants a war, and he always gets a war, but I don't think he's going to survive this one. So, yeah. Holland by finish.
Yeah.
What do you got for me, son?
That's a good spot, I reckon. Yeah, good bet. I think that Holland's going to finish in this spot just like you. You know, Santiago was getting rocked all over the place by Alex Morono. Alex Morono's not a huge hitter. He got rocked in round 1, got dropped in round 1, actually. Done the stanky leg in round 3 and ended up knocking Morono out in the same round. And in round 2, he got wobbled as well. You know, like the guy's durability is going, knocked out by Leach. I mean, he fought well against Jeff Neal, which is random. Just like a war sprinkled in there where his chin looked good. But like on either side of it, he's just been getting wobbled everywhere. So, yeah, I don't really like betting on washed fighters, man. I actually like betting against them, you know, like Pinheiro and stuff. So, I think Holland's going to finish. Not much more to say, bro. I don't know. Do you think there's any upside for the submission? Submission is like 700, whereas KO is like 190 or something, 200. So, do you think there's any upside for that? Just wondering.
I guess. I just feel like, I don't know. I thought about it because it's a much better line.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like, I don't know. I'm a visual guy, and I haven't really seen Santiago get submitted, or I don't really see Holland really go for submissions much. You know what I mean? Other than that Tim Means fight, what he called it, he said he was going to go for a submission.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess you can't go wrong. There's value, I guess. You never know.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a KO as well. But I saw a big number on someone I think is going to finish. You always have a double look, you know?
Oh, of course, man. 100%.
Yeah.
So we're moving on?
Yep.
Did you play that Holland finish as well, or no? You just like to play?
No, I didn't play Holland finish, but I'm more leaning to the under because at the end of the day, Holland has been finished in back-to-back fights. Ponzinibbio still has a lot of power. It's going to be a war. So Holland inside the distance is a good play. There's an argument between that and the under 2.5 for me, which is a better play. I don't really know, but you know, to cover more bases, MMA is a crazy game, man. Like even in that Morono fight, like he was just getting pieced up, and then he just gets a finish in the 3rd round. So you never know. So I'm more leaning towards the under.
Yeah, fair. I thought about it, but yeah, I just don't give Santiago any chance of a finish. Even then, you know, Holland just quit because his hand was broken. So, and the other one was a submission, which, man, if Santiago gets a submission, I'll retire from gambling. And if he does, I'll just delete this broadcast so I won't have to retire. But anyway, Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez. Do you want to take this one away?
Yeah, go on. Tell me what play you think I got on this one.
All right. Well, I was right about you not having the play on Santiago. I don't know. You throw me for a loop now. Look, I'm going to say you have Rob Font here. I'm going to say Rob Font because I considered it. I considered it a lot. And if I considered it, you would have to play it.
The guy thinks he's got me down pat. He thought I played Michelle Waterson. I played against her. He thought I played Rob Font, and I played against him. Yanez is going to hurt this dude, man. Yanez is too slick. His counters are too slick. Look, Rob Font can win, but Rob Font has to stay perfect for 15 minutes. It's not a 25-minute fight, so he has more chance for it, but I see Yanez catching him. You know, I spoke about this on a couple of podcasts where Yanez has really good pocket boxing for MMA because, you know, in boxing, right, they teach you how to throw a hook or just any strike. They teach you turn your whole body into it, right? Your hip, everything. Whereas in MMA, you can get away with just throwing short, sharp shots. So you see when Yanez fights, it won't look aesthetically pleasing sometimes. I mean, some of his strikes do, but he'll just throw little shots like that. Do you know what I mean? He won't even turn his fist over. But it lands very well because it's small gloves. So he sees the small details when he comes into the pocket, and he can kind of land shots that otherwise wouldn't be landed in boxing. And I think that benefits him a lot in MMA because every time someone comes in close to him, he lands those short, sharp shots. He doesn't try and twist his whole body into it and, you know, try and put a lot of torque into it. You don't need to. Fast, accurate, that's all you need in MMA, right? Obviously, yes, sometimes he throws big shots as well. You know, he mixes it up. But for that reason, I think he's going to land on Rob Font. Rob Font is going to come into the fire here. We know that. Rob Font's going to throw jabs. Yes, he likes to jab, but he will come into the fire. He will come into pocket boxing range. He will do it. If he does that, Yanez is going to clip him with one of those short shots I mentioned. And I just feel like his chin's dust, man. He's been dropped like 6 times over the last 2 fights. Yeah, there was against good fighters. Yeah, whatever. Like, I mean, his chin's not there. If he gets hit once, I think he either gets knocked out or loses the round easily. Big moment upside is massive on Yanez. So yeah, I like Yanez in this spot.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm also going back and forth between, laying the juice on Yanez and also Font. But yeah, as the time's going on, I don't think I can play Font. It just it's like another Ponzinibbio fight, right? Doing well until he isn't. And yeah, the reason I couldn't play Yanez, or I understand why people are Font. It's all of Yanez's career. He's the way I boil it down is 2 really good boxers, could be the best boxers in the division, right, or up there.
Yeah.
Peter Yan's up there too, in my opinion. But and what it comes down to is Font gets let down by his chin, and Yanez gets let down by sometimes being a little bit passive. And, the volume, just making reads for too long. And then when he does make reads, he just jabs and, he's a little bit too clean for the judges, right? He was absolutely jabbing the crap out of Davy Grant, and Grant's face looked like a mess. And Yanez barely got touched, but he's always rolling and he's not throwing hard. And all the judges at cage side can see, a lot of volume from Davy, and there's going to be a lot of volume from Rob Font, right?
Yeah.
And Font is more clean, and Font hits hard as well, man. Font, it's straight down the pipe. There's no, looping hooks like Davy Grant. And I actually laid the juice on Yanez there, and I said to myself, look, it was a force bet. Look, I'm forcing this one a bit, but, it could be close, but end of the day, there's going to be a couple of drops and wobbles. And there wasn't many. He didn't drop a wobble Grant once, and it was sweaty. And it's the same thing here. Font has a bad chin, but if he doesn't get cracked, man, even when he does get cracked, he gets up, he puts the pressure on, he knows how to close rounds well. But yeah, it's just like, is he not going to get dropped? The Jose Aldo fight, I played Aldo there. Just the basic 1-2 down the pipe, and he's doing the stanky leg. Yeah, just one combination every 5 minutes is enough to steal rounds, and probably happens here. Like you said, there's going to be a lot of pressure from Font. Maybe they won't. Maybe he decides just to jab and stay safe, never throw the 2, and they're just jabbing each other, and it's just a close fight. But yeah, well, both guys, what they have lacking, like the chin and the output, the other guys got in abundance. Yanez got crazy chin, but he's always had this problem, man. Even in his Estrada fight before the UFC went to split, he was just pressuring Estrada, and Estrada was just moving and landing head kicks on the back foot. Lost the split to Jones, lost the split to Pilate. Already a split in the UFC against Davy Grant. So this is a big step. It's a big step up. And if he doesn't get his reads early, man, Font's going to be putting volume on him. Yeah, if anything, I'll play Font decision, or maybe just play some juice on Yanez and then maybe hedge it with a Font decision. I don't know where my friend Akai is. I was expecting him to be hammering Font submission. He loves that play, only because it's astronomical odds. But yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm back and forth. I guess I have Yanez 6 out of 10 to win this, just because of durability and boxing. But yeah, man, good luck to you. Good luck to you. I haven't played anything. I do lean Yanez. Honestly, I'll probably play Yanez, despite it being juice. It's go on.
I was going to say that on this card, there's a running theme that people are washed, right? I don't want to say Font's washed, but I think his chin has deteriorated. I don't think his chin was ever amazing, but I do think it has deteriorated. And what I've done on this card, as you see with the Waterson fight, and this fight, I've gone against these fighters who I believe are washed, like Holland, even inside the distance play I was thinking about, and we can speak about Masvidal Burns as well. I just feel like there's a new time, there's a new era stepping in, and I completely understand people betting Font. Logically, minute to minute, he's going to be winning the fight. So it's always scary when I think I'm going to be out-volumed on my bet. But Unfortunately, I just think it might be time for Rob Font here.
Indeed. I mean, you can't go wrong usually on playing juiced favorites on pay-per-views. Like, they usually win. They usually get set up. Usually favorites clean up. But I'll pay the price doing that with Fiziev. Just the forced shitty bet against Gaethje. I was like, this should be right. If I get burned, I will never do it again. And I got burnt. But yeah, you can't go wrong fading a 35-year-old Font. You know, they set him up with another good boxer. So let's move on. Now, this is a fight I don't really want to talk about much. Maybe you can talk about it. Gilbert Burns, Jorge Masvidal. It's a dog or pass. It's just I don't have any strong leans. I mean, Masvidal didn't really look good to me against what's his name, Covington. Despite, you know, cracking him in rounds 4, it's just the cardio and the explosiveness, you know, things that he always had in abundance, not looking the same to me. Burns, not much of a difference in terms of age, but it kind of seems in his prime, you know, Burns, like he's got a lot of gas in the tank. He's going to wars with Khamzat. I don't see someone like George doing that. Yeah, no interest in anything. I see the under is popular. I don't know. I feel like they both might hurt each other, but it just ultimately both survive. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think Masvidal's washed, you know, just like everybody else on this card. I think Masvidal's done. I mean, the guy's he's opening restaurants. You know, he's got his own promotion, Game Bread Boxing. He's doing all this stuff outside the octagon. Gilbert Burns is going to war with Khamzat, submitting Neil Magny in round 1. He's looking at Leon Edwards thinking, I can beat this guy. I can take him down. I can submit him. He's looking at it going, I don't have to fight Kamaru Usman after he battered me last time. You know, he's gunning for the title. Masvidal is gunning for a paycheck. Masvidal is 38 years of age. He's been fighting forever. I think Gilbert Burns is a deserved massive favorite in this spot. I think Gilbert Burns can hurt him on the feet. I think Gilbert Burns can dominate from top position. I don't see Masvidal being able to stop a takedown here. Yeah, I think Gilbert Burns is a rightful big favorite. The only thing on Masvidal's side is that he's got very good power and Burns is a bit chinny. So for that reason, I would never lay minus 500 on a guy who, you know, is chinny against Masvidal, because Masvidal even knocked down Colby, you know, but even in that fight, Masvidal looked bad, man. I mean, he almost got finished by Colby. Like, I thought he was going to get finished at points, and that's not a good look for someone like Colby Covington. So, yeah, I agree with it, like minus 400, I would say. 80%, I would cap it out about that. I think he's going to dominate, honestly.
Yeah, man, he was getting cracked by Kobe, and we've just seen him, you know, knocked out Cole by Usman. Yeah, I can understand the under, you know, seeing that. It's like,
yeah,
if anyone can crack, it's Burns, but it's quite a bit. It's a bit juicy, actually.
And if he goes for takedowns, I thought it was about picking, but it might have been bet. But like, if he goes for takedowns, then Masvidal is very, very good at staying safe, you know, on the ground. So he might just like, I could see him 30-27, like tons of elbows, like just piecing him up, but it just never gets finished, you know, similar to like Edson Barbosa and Bryce Mitchell back in the day, or something like that. So I'm a bit wary on the under, but honestly, man, I am looking to play the under. I don't know if I'll pull the trigger though, because they're like, Masvidal's tough, man. Yeah,
the classical Burns style is, you know, strike, and then mix in the wrestling. So that's typical decision fighter. Yeah, like I said, no opinion. This fight right here, I do have an opinion.
Okay.
Alex Pereira versus Isreal Adesanya 2. I'll take this one away if you don't mind.
Yeah, go on, bro.
The last time these guys fought, I was, you know, advocating for Pereira. Look, I was saying, look at the way Adesanya's fighting. You know, he's going to not really close decisions, or hard to say competitive. You know, he's winning 4 rounds to 1 against people like Cannonier, but every round is like 1 or 2 leg kicks away from losing. You know, 1 or 2 1-2s down the pipe away from, you know, it goes back to Romero, right? And now he's, you know, that's 37-year-old Cannonier. That's not a good kickboxer. He's just got power. And now he's fighting a guy that's a world-class kickboxer, a guy that's been losing before, and he made adjustments, right? That's what world-class fighters do. and they make adjustments and go figure. He made an adjustment in round 5 and knocked out Izzy. And he also leg kicked Izzy, which Izzy does to everyone else. And in last minute, I went from playing Pereira to playing the under. I thought, look, at least it's a little bit safer. I reckon both guys can knock each other out. And if Pereira wins, most likely gets a knockout. Don't see him winning a decision. And I was never celebrated happier than that with my friends when that happened, because we all hate Adesanya. No offense, I know you're from New Zealand, but
Traitor.
yeah, it's just now the line has come in, and honestly, even now it's dog or pass for me. I'm a firm believer that Alex Pereira, the second time around, he's going to have a lot more confidence. Now he's the champ. He's been in there with Alex in an MMA fight. Probably didn't know what to expect. Hasn't fought Izzy since who knows how long. But yeah, like not as much of a dog now. Those fights, those rounds, you got hurt in round 1, but it was close up until that point. Won round 2, lost round 3 clear. Round 4 was close, and won round 5. Right, so it's not a. I don't know why people are laying the juice on Adesanya again. It reminds me a lot of Usman versus Edwards. People saw how Usman Edwards went, and then they went back to hammering the juice on Usman, thinking that he was going to do the same thing but not eat a head kick. And I'm like, yeah, if only MMA was that simple, right? And Edwards, that's one of the first times all year that I actually ended up getting a main event right. Last time you were on, we were both on Garn, and I'm trying to turn around my MMA, my main event. Last year I was just killing the main events, and now I'm like reverse. I get the whole card right, and then main events wrong. And this time I'm on Pereira, but not much conviction. Not the best line, but I'm thinking about the under. It's the same price as I bet it last time, and it's not moving. Like, do people think this goes to a decision? Pereira, we've seen he carries power late. He can knock out Izzy, which no one has done in MMA or kickboxing. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure Pereira was the only guy to knock him out. So yeah. He can do it. He can do it while he's gassed. He can do it late in round 5 when he's tired. If Pereira wrestles, he's going to tire out. If he keeps backing up, he's going to tire out. This is just an awful matchup for Izzy. He doesn't have the size. The only thing he has is speed, which a lot of people have speed on Alex. The guy's a mammoth. So yeah, dog or pass for me. I'm probably going to play the under. I also don't have much conviction because that fight was so close to going to a decision. But I feel like maybe we can see, maybe an earlier finish here. Could be a bit of a surprise. What do you say, sir?
I don't think this is all right. I'll say that I don't think it's an awful matchup for Izzy, because I think he's won most of the minutes that they fought. Like, I think he's won about 65% of the fight, over the 3 fights. But compared to like every other matchup in the division, it is an awful matchup for him, just because, he's just massive and he can match him on the strikes, which is like impossible to do against Izzy if you're not Alex. But I did a 30-minute breakdown on this fight, so I'm not going to speak too long. But basically, I understand that, Izzy being a slight favorite, I understand it. I feel like so this guy's saying Alex is a much better striker than Izzy. He's not, man. Izzy is a better technical striker. Izzy manages range better than Alex Pereira. Izzy has better defense than Alex Pereira, so he's more slick with his defense. You don't see Izzy get hit clean a lot. Alex gets hit clean a lot more. Even in that Bruno Silva fight, Bruno Silva hit him with some heavy, heavy shots. And Izzy can pick out shots better. Now, the thing about Alex is he's an absolute freak, athletic powerhouse. He's like double the size of Izzy now, which is crazy. Go back and watch their kickboxing fights. They're basically the same size. Now, in MMA, Alex is a size above him, literally crazy. And Alex has the craziest power I've ever seen in the left hook. I've never, ever seen a shot like his left hook. It's like Mirko Krokop's left high kick, like I've said a few times. Like, Alex's left hook is unbelievable. So he can land that on anybody. But I do feel like the grappling upside is there for Izzy. I don't expect him to use it, because with ego as well, I don't think he's going to want to use it. He wants to knock this guy out. He doesn't want to lose 3 times, get knocked out twice, and then grapple him to a win. I don't think he wants to do that as a man, as a kickboxer. I don't think he wants to do that. But it is there. They may grapple a few times. The fight, they might fall over. So I do give Izzy, the advantage there. And I think it's about 50-50 on the feet. Izzy was 3-1 going into the 5th round last time. Almost knocked him out in the first round. If he had 10 more seconds in that first round, Izzy maybe gets a round 1 knockout. So, I do think Izzy should be a slight favorite, maybe like -130 or something, which is about where it is now. But yeah, I also like the under. I definitely like the under. I think both of these guys can easily knock each other out. Not easily, but like they can definitely knock each other out. It's proven in all of their 3 fights. It's proven that these guys fight at a high pace, heavy shots are landed, and both fighters can get knocked out. That's proven. So I like the under much better than the money line here. In my opinion, don't guess a money line. Just play the under. So that's what I've done.
Fair. We're on the same page. What was I going to say? Yeah, Pereira also mentioned that after getting rocked at the end of round 1, he threw his game plan off. It could be why he was so hesitant. And I remember watching that fight live. I was like, man, Pereira's so close to hitting Isreal with a clean left. Like, great head movement by Izzy.
Yeah.
But it's always so close, and it's just he ate a few in rounds 4 and didn't get knocked out. But it's just like 25 minutes. It's going to be close the whole time, So yeah, it's a little bit nerve-wracking. But what would you cap the under here, personally yourself?
Like I would say the under is about 65%, 60 to 65 around there.
The under 4.5.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, it's still a pick it, man. I can't believe it's holding there, but yeah, it seems like people are not rushing to bet it, which is interesting, right?
It almost went to decision, right? Like in the last fight, so maybe that's skewing people's thoughts, but I would say at least 60-65%.
And then I
already bet it, and usually when I bet it, the market will move. So I don't. Yeah, so I'm quite surprised that it hasn't moved yet.
Do you reckon your boys that are paying you for your tips, they're too nervous to bet it, even though they're tailing you, blindly tailing you?
But usually I move the market myself, depending on what book I use. Like the books won't accept my bet. They'll accept half of my bet, move the market, and then I have to bet on the worst line, So that's why I spread stake across so many books and different people, because then I don't impact the market as much. But yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if my boys are scared to bet it. I wouldn't be scared. It's like an easy bet for me. I mean, I don't really see why you'd be scared to bet an under in a fight that's gone under twice out of 3 times. The first fight I didn't go under was an absolute war in kickboxing gloves, and Izzy almost knocked him out 2 other times in the second and third fight. So for me, it's an easy bet, but I don't know.
Yep, 100%. All righty, let's polish this off and then get out of here. It's getting quite warm in my room, as you can tell. I'll be naked by the end of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll do the best bets, man. The last time you gave us your best bets, can't remember what it was. I know one of them hit.
What card was it? What card was it?
It was Gone Jones. I know that your second one lost. I remember that. But your first one hit. But you gave me like $2,
right?
Yes, you gave me plus money on both of them.
Sweet. So we cashed. Well done.
Nice.
Well, did I give Cyril Gone? I wouldn't have done that, would I?
No. I remember I gave Bo Nickel round 1 at -200. I said it's not the most value, but I mean it's still value. It was over in 2 minutes.
Did I give Jalen Turner?
No. I'll tell you what. For the sake of I'll tell you what you gave us. Not that it matters.
I'm just wondering now.
Yeah. I'm saying I'm just cute.
Jalen Turner, man, they fucked me on that, bro. I was pissed off, man. I'm not saying he won, but like plus 180, that looked to pick him. And then everyone parading with their Gamrot bets, like trying to convince themselves he looked -200. Get out of here, man.
No, I told you, bro. It was a horrible bet of juice, but I ended up playing last minute Gamrot submission or decision for half a unit. It was plus money, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's all right.
And I was still sweating. Still, maybe didn't have much value. All right, so Loic Radzabanov, I think I gave that just to be a contrarian. Duplessis, Brunson, Trevin Jones. Maybe you gave Cody decision or something? Cody Garnbrad decision?
I bet that was like plus 750. If I gave that, man, that's that epic bet that I gave out if it was.
Yeah, Barriol, you were really comfortable confident on Barriol, but I don't think you gave that out because he wasn't plus money.
No.
I gave out Farid Bashir at round 3 of decision, and then I gave out the -200 on Bo Nickel. Yeah, who knows? Doesn't matter. I can't figure it out. Yeah. But anyway, for this one, I'll go first, man. Obviously, not much for me, but I feel like I will have some stuff. I'm going back to basics this week. Took a break on Monday. I feel really refreshed.
Yeah.
It's all about profit for me, so I'll find some good bets. I like, obviously, Holland by finish. You know, how confident am I? I'm still going half a unit just because, you know, I can see multiple wobbles, blah, blah, blah. But I think this is a no-brainer. Like, how can you not bet this fight against the guy that gets hurt in every single fight, against the guy like Holland that finishes so many people, right? So $2.45 there. I bet half a unit to win over 1,000. And then I do have a couple official bets locked in, but they're not official. Like I've got Steve Garcia. I don't know if I want to keep it. I have Kevin Gastelum, but as you can see, like if I'm thinking of arbing out, like how much do I like to bet really? My best bets. Fuck. There's gonna be a few, man. I'm gonna have some few bets. It's just I'm gonna say the under in the main event. Fuck it. Main event under doesn't go. I'll give myself another 2.5 minutes. That's all I have at the moment. So Holland finish and the main event to end and finish. That's my two favorite. What
about you? You want two?
You can give me one if you want. What's your favorite?
Christian Rodriguez plus 200.
I was close to saying that, even though I haven't played him yet. Yeah. He's such a good fighter, man. Such a good fighter.
It's not like it's hard to give my favorite, bro. I don't really work on that. Like every now and then I'll have like a play that I dump 20% into, but like for the most part, I like to just spread my stake out because I'm not a genius. Well, some would say, but I can't get everything right. So what I'd rather do is just spread it all out, and I'm kind of similar confidence about all of my bets. Do you know what I mean? Like that's how I get you. That's how I feel usually. So best bet is tough, but fuck it. Christian Rodriguez, I don't understand how he's plus 200 in this spot, so I'll give that one out. And then I like the Holland and like the one I'm saying most confident at a good price would probably be like Kevin Holland, Ponzinibbio under 2.5.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So we line up, man. So that's cashing for sure.
Yeah.
You have a style like me back in the day, which, man, I used to cash so much when I spread myself out. But I think the way the MMA is going, I'm happy being very like, it's easy for me to have a best bet. You know, I have two and I can give you two.
Yeah.
But no, thanks for that, man. That was good podcast. Thanks for jumping on.
Anytime.
Always good to have you on. I'm always looking to, when I have time, bring some guests and know what they're talking about. Sometimes I'll have popular people that don't know what they're talking about, but, you know, the fans want to see them talk. So, anything you want to plug, man, before we get out of here?
No, not really, man. Just follow me on LucrativeMMA. I did a chat with Nathaniel Wood yesterday, you know, the bantamweight from London.
Yeah, I saw on your Twitter. That's cool.
Yeah, it was a good chat, man. We just talked shit for about an hour, and he's from London as well, so am I. So we vibed quite well. So I'm going to put that on YouTube. I'll put that on YouTube after. I'm going to upload that on YouTube in about half an hour. So if anyone wants to hear me and Nathaniel Wood talk shit for about an hour, go and watch that. So I'll plug that if anyone's here on YouTube. Just stay on YouTube. Half an hour it'll be up. But other than that, thanks everybody for look at this guy talking shit. Bro, go and check my Twitter and you see bets for 30, 40 grand, mate. Get out of it. Anyway, MMA Crazy. That's a good name because you're crazy, boy. But yeah, thanks for having me on, Steve, man. I appreciate you, bro.
That's all right. Anytime, dude. Anytime. And like and subscribe. I'm sure most of you subscribe to James. He's got a shit ton of subscribers. Give me some subscribers too. You guys have been good. Subscribe to the Discord. I fixed the link in my Twitter. It wasn't the Matrix. My bad. It was just me being an idiot. And yeah, I don't think I'll be doing a PFL. I've got a lot of things going on. But other than that, thanks to everyone for tuning in and good luck on your best. See you soon.